Happy Friday, everyone. The final show of the week. It's Red Sox Now. It's presented by FanArch. I'm your host, Mike Antonellis. Hope you're having a great week. I'll try to do some 5-minute updates over on my personal YouTube this weekend. I will be with the Woo Sox like I have been a couple days here. Was there last night. They lost to the Yankees AAA affiliate. I'll get into that, some observations as well. But this week went by quick. And it was weird. For some reason, it felt weird with the Red Sox being off yesterday. I don't know why. I felt like it'd been so long since they played. I don't know. It was just a weird. But they'll be back at it tonight. Arizona and the Athletics. All right. So people have been sending me messages about different hats. Framingham State. I went to Framingham State. It's in Massachusetts. We don't have everybody that watches here from Mass. It's where I went to school. It's where my dad went to school. It's where my grandfather. So I'm a triple legacy, and I currently work there. I landed there because of the pandemic. So long story short, full-time minor league broadcaster for 25 years. I leave the Portland Sea Dogs to go to Pawtucket. I get the call February 2020, and the day I move here, the movers are putting stuff in my apartment. The world shut down. Long story short, I wasn't able to be full-time with Pawtucket/Worcester, so I had to find another job. My dad sent me a job at Framingham State. Only one I applied for, and I got it. I was lucky. So that's how I balance both, and I'm rocking that. So Framingham State, tell me where you went to school. I'd love to know. We got people all over. We're going to get to your comments. We got the Bregman news as well and doing the math. But before we go any further, if you could subscribe to the channel, we really appreciate it. As your support has been fantastic. Man, oh man, guys and gals, all of you, the comments, but we're making our way towards 1,800 subscribers, and the channel keeps growing thanks to you, and you make it more enjoyable every day. I love the comments. We get to them all, during the day. I hop on there, try to do it every hour, and get to you. So I'll do a couple quick Woo Sox things. Justinson Garcia is having a really, really tough time adjusting to being back because he missed just a couple of days. And we talk to our manager every day. I've talked to players about this over the years and actually shared a story last night on the air. I remember asking a player this in Portland who played every day. And I said, he was out for a couple of days. And I go, what is it like when you play every day? Because these guys play, the everyday players, they play like, in the big leagues, 140, 45. But in the minors, over 100. And I said, when you miss a couple games for an injury, 2 or 3, how hard is it when you go back and play? And they said it's like missing a month. Oh, wow. It's always stuck with me. And right now, Joe Stinson is really, really having a tough time adjusting after coming back from Boston because he didn't play much. And that's why there's a balance when you send guys to the big leagues. He's 22, and the guys are young. You want to be careful because you don't want to hurt their development. But he has struck out, 8, 9, 10 times in 4, 8, 12, 20 at-bats. He was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts last night. So he's having a tough go of it just getting acclimated to playing again. His timing is off. It happens, but still a big fan of him. I'm just pointing out that these kids, it's not easy for them. Christian Campbell last night had a couple hits, made another error at first base that still looked rough. That I don't know if that's going to be a position for him. It looks like it's more first and center. But again, I'm going to stick to my guns on this, that he's just not an option because of his defense. And right now is not the time where you want to put guys out there that you can't count on defensively. And, I know I've said this, but he made a bad error at first base last night. But he's mainly playing first, center, and left. So that's kind of they're rotating that. And those are positions that he's kind of learning. So a big part of his development that was not working was defense. I know and our manager talked about this last night. He said, everyone just focuses on offense, and they're looking just at the offensive numbers. But his defense in the big leagues was not good. And that was a part of his game that I don't think was fully developed. I think they would have taken his offensive struggles if it was elite defense. Maybe he would have been up there longer, but now they're trying to fill in the gaps and teach him and truly trying to find a position. I think they're doing a really good job at it. But the first base is coming along. But he did make it, there was a throw from Abraham Toro where he ran to his left to get the throw. The throw was off the bag towards home. And he thought the ball was still in his glove and the ball was behind him. And the runners just kept going and he didn't move. Those are things you just, again, the learning at first base. Shane Drowan was on a pitch count. He looked pretty good, but had to come out after 3 2/3. He missed 3 months. His stuff was pretty good. And Alex Hoppy's another guy to keep on your radar. He throws between 98 to 100 consistently. And he went 2 scoreless and struck out 4. But the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Railroaders pitching staff fanned 14 batters. All right? Their starter, this is crazy statistic, Alan Winans, who's a 30-year-old. He's kind of a journeyman. He's 11-0. He didn't get the win last night, but the Scranton team is 19-0 in games that he pitches in. Just crazy. So I'll be there tonight on Friday and keep you posted on anything I see over the weekend. But not a lot there. A lot of the players that were there. I mean, this happens. Like, this is the time of year where there's not a lot left because the team. This is a good thing. Most of them went to the big leagues, but there's really not a ton of guys left that I think could help the Red Sox. Still don't know with the Criswell and Fitz injuries as well. Those are still things where, they're still down. We didn't get any word on that. Isaiah Campbell's still there, of course, we know. Moran, all guys that they've moved. Murphy's up for Hicks. That was the move yesterday. Hicks going on the injured list. David Sandlin is still learning that reliever position, and Tyler Uberstein has going to probably have his innings limited. He's starting to hit a wall a little bit. And Mikey Romero did hit a long home run last night that I was on the call for. That was pretty cool. Let's get to the Sox. How amazing is it that we're this deep into the season, September 4th, and the games that, of course, really matter, and you've got a guy in his first professional season starting tonight. I just think it's unbelievable that this is really, I know we dwell on a lot of the negative stories, and I avoid that. I'm going to avoid it because this is something that no one forecasted. I talked with Brian Abraham at length. He's one of the senior development of player development yesterday before the game. And they are ecstatic and even said Peyton's different. Totally different. This is a different guy. They group, in progression, there is the way guys handle themselves too. And this is the high makeup. And they heard a lot of this from the coaches at every level. We're telling them, yeah, the stuff's good, but this guy's got high makeup. Those are the things that they communicate with the higher ups. And they trust that. And it got to a point where, in AAA, he was dominating. This was funny. A Red Sox executive was telling me that he was watching our TV broadcast. J.P. Ricciardi was really outspoken about how this guy should be a big leaguer. And they're like, when J.P. talks, we listen. Because J.P. is a former scout and a former big league GM and a good talent evaluator. But the fact that you're able to do this year is beyond such a win for the team because it's a starting pitcher where you're really starving for, in my mind. The bullpen is not an issue to me, as many are way over dramatic about it. You have no chance going forward if you had 3 starters right now. And you can only survive so many injuries. I'm not a big believer in saying that, injuries, you just got to get over it. No, I mean, you can get over it to a point, right? I mean, there's only so many injuries you can avoid. With their pitchers, it's been so many of them now. And when I was talking with Brian Abraham, Dobbins was a guy that they really felt was solidifying himself into a role. So you think about that. Dobbins, Fitz, right now, Criswell, you lost 3 starters. Two recently. We know about Crawford, Houck. Remember Winkowski's been out? But down the stretch here, let's just keep it to the current situation down the stretch. Fitz came back. Okay, great. Now he looks good. But even going before, let's go before that. With Criswell, 7 innings against Houston. He came back, he made 2 outings, and he's hurt. 2 relief outings. Not sure what happened. I think he got hurt in that Houston start. Fitz, okay, this looks good. He's up there as a bulk reliever. This looks good. Then he gets hurt. And then Kyle Harrison. That's another option. But he's hurt now. We don't know when he's pitching again. So if you did not have the development, and let's go back to even, and we know about the Priester deal, and I believe me, that was a depth piece. I've spoken my piece many times on that, how he did not like that. But going back to a plan to be more pitching heavy in the draft, it starts last year. You took Peyton Tolley in the second round. You developed him in a year. Less than that. The guy was not throwing this hard. You drafted him 45th overall, and you're able to, and this probably would not happen if you didn't have more injuries, but you had another option this late in the season. This would not have been the case last year probably, or years past, because we know what the pitching depth in this organization was, especially internally. It was not good. So even though some of these options are not flying off the radar, I know people don't love Richard Fitz, or they don't love Cooper Criswell, or even Kyle Harrison. The fact that you lost an all-star pitcher, whether you like Tanner Houck or not, he was an all-star last year, and he wasn't good to start the year. We know that. But we don't know what would have happened. Tons of injuries. But on this day, September 5th, you're able to put a guy out there in his first professional outing that looks like an upper rotation guy right now. Certainly there's innings. We know that. The innings limit, then they have that all mapped out. But you would be in a horrible spot right now. And it might have forced you to do other things, before. That's why I always talk about leverage. At the deadline, the Red Sox didn't do more. Okay, I get that question a lot. You gave up a lot to get Dustin May because you did not have a strength there. And you're a team trying to make the playoffs. Everyone knows what you need. And you were trying to just fill in and get some guys in here to bring you innings. And it's still going to be an issue because right now, you're still going to need the starter. So will it be May on the turn? It won't be Criswell because he hasn't thrown. I don't know if he's even going to be back. It wouldn't be Fitz. We'll see what Kyle Harrison. Is he the next guy up with May a bulk guy? Or do they just go back to the Bernardino May? Or Bernardino Zach Kelly. And that would be an unbelievable twist and turn with all of the injuries you have, and you got those 3 solid guys in your rotation. And listen, when it comes to the playoffs, it's not going to matter. The things that we are talking about now won't matter because you're not going to need a 5th starter. They're not going to carry – they might not even carry May in the playoffs. Maybe it is Zach Kelly. But what a weird turn of events this could be down the stretch. And you don't have a ton of games left. You do need 3 or 4 spots. If a Bernardino Kelly 5th starter kind of mold here is what works. We'll see. I think it's predicated on the Kyle Harrison injury. And the other 2 I mentioned, Fitz and Criswell, we just have to wait. But I'm not holding my breath because that does not really look good. But it's Tolley tonight against Eduardo Rodriguez, a former Red Sox farmhand who they got from Andrew Miller. I remember the day that we were playing in Bowie, Maryland. I think I've told you this story before. And they traded for him while the Sea Dogs were playing Bowie. And I think it was the last game of the series. I can't remember. But I remember Eduardo hopping on our bus, and we had to stop at the stadium and get his stuff. It was kind of weird because he was the new kid. But terrific guy. Really liked him and always hope for the best. But not tonight. against the Red Sox. Okay, so we've talked about this, and now the reports from Jeff Passan, barring an injury or catastrophic slump, Alex Bregman will opt out. This has to be coming right from Boris. Will opt out and join Tucker and Schwarber in a clear top tier among this winter's free agents. Bregman is bound to get the 5-year plus at an average annual value of $35 million. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think I got confused too when we were talking about when people were asking me if he will opt out. I think I took that more. Would he opt out and not stay here? I think we kind of all knew they were going to do a new deal. So yeah, I mean, him opting out is not surprising. I'm not surprised about that. And it's because of the situation. The Yankees, Phillies, and Tigers are the teams that would be interested in his services. So, of course, and the Red Sox. So, if those three teams had a Bregman like already, I don't think he'd opt out. I don't. But I don't know if this is as big a deal as we think. I mean, with Alex, he's done a lot of things here. He said a lot of things. He has his own beer here. Now, again, money talks. But I'm not surprised because I thought that was part of the process would be that they'll do a new deal for him. So I think I was getting maybe confused by some who were asking me, would he opt out and leave? I think that's kind of where I was going. But I'm not surprised after this year. He should do that. That's what they do. That's what and the players have to do this, by the way. I know that this is where you mix business and people will say, well, if I was Bregman, it's just what the players, they do this to support each other. Whether you like that or not, it's just what they do. They always hold out for the biggest contracts because that's just what the players union encourages. And then it helps the next guy. That's why, I mean, A-Rod was willing to take less money in that trade with the Red Sox, and the union said no. They canceled that. So I don't think this is a surprise to me one bit. I didn't, I looked at it as, okay, this puts pressure on the Red Sox. Now, if they are unwilling, because I am all for 5 years of him. I don't care, as Passan is saying, Bregman might be eyeing, might be, okay, yeah. He. It's funny how I love when these reporters they all have all speculation, and Boris is feeding Passan all of this. Might be eyeing a contract more than 5 years with an annual average of $35 million. There's no way that Jeff Passan just figured that out. But I'm okay with that. I don't care how old he is. I think it's worth every penny to me because of that position, and I don't care about him being old. I care about he brings a development tool as well with him. The way he works with the younger players, I think there's more value. That's why I never look at everything black and white. When we, there's this thing about signing guys at certain ages. Yeah, certain ones is not worth it, but for him it is. He's worth every penny, and it would be very disappointing if the Red Sox don't match that, or if they lose him to the Yankees or anybody. But I bet Dombrowski's going to come after him hard, and so will the Yankees. I mean, the Tigers already did, and he said no to them. So Yankees, Phillies, and Red Sox. I don't love the timing of this. I don't love talking about this now when you're in a playoff race. I hate this stuff now. And I Boris is the one who leaked this. I don't know why. Bregman already said he wanted to focus on the season, but this is what Boris does. I just think it's somewhat of a distraction, but it's a distraction to fans, and it's something that's going to be over talked about on every TV and radio show now for the next. It's going to be wall to wall today about this, and. But it's too bad it comes out now. You had the Anthony injury. To me, it's just, you're still in the season. So let's just wait. But it's not surprising. And I don't think that means if you're wondering, that does not mean the Red Sox are out. It's that, he obviously knows he's got some leverage on them, and that's good business. So I think they will get a deal done. I am confident. And it would be weird if Bregman said all those things and did all those things and then pieced out after 1 year. But again, I could see him doing that if the offer's not good. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned to that. I did some math. I mean, I'm still okay with the 90 wins for the Red Sox. I know people want more. They were 81-81 last year. And man, was I wrong about, I said there was no doubt the 6 teams were already in place. I think the 5 are to me. It's that Seattle has lost 16 of 20. And they're all the moves they made. And it was like, we looked at that team. Wow. I mean, they look really good. And then all of a sudden, it's their pitching has been horrendous. Houston's gone down a bad road. Now, you remember with Houston, they lost Alvarez, Garcia, and Javier. They've had a lot of injuries as well. They're only 13 over 500. They've been in a big tailspin, but they're going to win their division unless, Seattle makes a run here. But, doing some math, the Red Sox would go, if they go 12-9 to get to 90 wins, I mean, Seattle would have to win 18, go 18-4 to pass them. Texas would have to go 19-3. Kansas City and Tampa would have to go like 20-2 for the Red Sox to not make the playoffs. So I'm really not worried about the Red Sox or Yankees. Yankees now have a 5-game lead. They won last night. And they have a half-game lead over the Red Sox for whoever gets the home field. But I mean, I did not see this coming. Texas is a game and a half, but the team is Tampa. They've won 7 straight games, and they are 2 back of Seattle. Kansas City is 2 back. They won again last night. This is incredible. Tampa is home against Cleveland. They're trying to knock Cleveland further back. Cleveland's 3.5 back. Seattle is at Atlanta. Let's see. Kansas City, I think they're on the road. We know the Red Sox are at Kansas City's home against Minnesota. And Texas is home against Houston. What a big series that is. I mean, that is fantastic. Seattle at Atlanta. Yeah, but Texas-Houston series. Yankees where are the Yankees tonight? They're home against Toronto. Man, some really good. Boy, this weekend could tell you a lot as well. So we're dwindling down the games. But I'll take that. Still take the 90 wins. A 9-game improvement in one season is pretty damn good. Let's get to your comments before we head out. At RealMap Lazan, do you think injuries are more prevalent in the modern era? Yeah. Alex Cora said it. These guys are doing too much. Sandy Koufax still believes, and you can laugh at the old-time guys, that you got to be built wiry. Now, listen, going back in the day when those guys weren't making any money, I think a lot more of them played hurt and injured and probably didn't last as long and didn't say anything. So I'm sure there were way more injuries, but it's just, guys are throwing harder. They swing harder. Everything is the body is different. It's bigger, stronger, and it can crash harder. So, but there is something to it. I don't know how you fix that, but I think there's definitely, and I think there's more now than when I was a kid in the 80s, early 90s. That's not that long ago. Definitely way more. At SN 500-N4V. I remember when we thought I was talking about the A's. We thought the Patriots were leaving. Yeah, to Hartford. Oh my God, horrible. What a crummy feeling that was. So I feel for the Oakland fans. Yeah, because the Red Sox play the A's. We were talking about that whole debacle. Now it looks like they're not going to Vegas. From the reports I heard, that whole thing is a disaster. And it was a disaster before they really kind of were outspoken about this, but people have been talking about it. And many have told me that the Sacramento move was because that's where they're going to be permanently. But who knows? Peter Garcia, 66-55. The Anthony injury reminds me of the 75 Rice injury. I was 10, and many think that caused the Sox to not win the World Series. Yeah, I mean, huge. even though we all know they came, awfully close. Hopefully others will step up. Definitely the pitching must come through. Yeah. Number one in ERA since July 1st. That's pretty damn good in the big leagues. And, yeah, I think the pitching has been the story. It has carried you at many times. But in years past, the Red Sox have been built the opposite way. That's how they were built a lot when I grew up, and they'd finish fifth, last. We've seen offensive teams light years better than this year, not even sniff playoffs. But every year we forget pitching, We do it every year. And then the playoffs come, and the team that wins has good arms, and we're like, and plays good defense and doesn't strike out a lot. We're like, oh, I want to be built like that. And then we forget and want all the offense the next year. At Luis Lima, 9680, I just subscribed from Guatemala. Go Red Sox. Luis, thank you. That's how we end the show on Friday for the week. Thanks for watching. Excellent stuff. Hope you have a great weekend. Make sure to subscribe to the channel before you head out. Follow me on socials at the Radio Mike, and my personal YouTube will take the subscriptions. Thanks for watching. It's Red Sox Now presented by Fan Arch. Have a great weekend and go Sox.